Good Thursday morning to you. This Vilco Weather Hazards Outlook is valid the rest of today, Thursday, through next Wednesday, January the 13th. While we're looking at great project weather continuing through at least tomorrow, Friday, before more turbulent weekend weather brings strong gradient downsloping winds and rain that'll move in on Sunday. Colder, blustery conditions will follow, and this will move in on Monday with the Arctic chill. The main concern for utilities, however, will be on Sunday with some downsloping winds that could be quite strong. We're seeing El Nino-induced weather systems continuing to blow across the Pacific, come ashore generally Southern California, a little bit less further to the north. There's a bit of ridging of higher pressure. This has been opening the door to sort of the floodgate of a typical El Nino that generally the storm track is going to be something like this and then work either up the coast or off the coast and toward Europe. High pressure continues to rule the roost across the northeast United States. This will eventually exit out of the region and allow for more mainly mid and high level clouds to roll in, especially late in the day on Friday, and that'll continue. This is our next weather maker. This will be the breakthrough weather system that'll be tracking into the Great Lakes and splitting in two, basically. It's the second system, the one that's moving through California right here. It's been producing thunderstorms through Southern California, has a lot of jet stream energy. This will be taking a track and spin up an area of low pressure that will eventually cross the Great Lakes. It'll also have a little bit of a split, and a secondary low is expected to develop as it moves east of Cape Cod and track into the Canadian Maritimes. All of this arriving on Sunday, and warmer air aloft will replace the cold air, and this means mostly rain with a little bit of a mixed bag type of precipitation starting Sunday morning, but that mostly is going to be a problem for the Adirondacks to our points to our west. It does look like conditions will be primarily rain, maybe a little bit of wet snow in the morning hours, or some mixed bag of precip on Sunday morning, but primarily going over to rain. The big main issue here is going to be the downsloping winds that will be taking place from the southeast across the western slopes of the Green Mountains and just about all of the higher terrain above 2,000 feet. And here's a quick look at the temperatures at surface. Anyway, temperatures basically in the 40s, will be in the 50s, and then work north. You can see the cold Arctic air prevalent across the northeast United States, associated with that cold dome of colder air mass and an area of higher pressure exiting out of the region. Okay, looking at the 6-hourly panels, latest incoming weather, you can see that area of higher pressure across the northeast United States, and just about every 6 hours, a little creep of some minor precipitation begins to work into the region. This will be arriving, it looks like, late overnight Friday night. And this is a lead impulse system that'll work on through, and it'll start to push out the cold air and mix it in with some warmer air. But the main effect is going to be this area of low pressure that actually tracks out of the area around Houston and then takes a track toward the Great Lakes. A lot of Gulf of Mexico moisture is going to be working into the region. There's a lot of jet stream energy, and this is a very volatile storm. This is the same one that went through Southern California, producing flooding rains and mudslides. So as you see right there near Houston, Texas, a group of thunderstorms will then split. The whole thing then begins to move into the region, along with some copious heavy rains and also some very strong pressure gradients here. These are real tight. That means very strong winds at surface, and this is what's going to be moving in during the afternoon, especially maxing out on Sunday. This moves on through, things calm on down, and we get some cold Arctic air that gets pinwheeled behind this area, this 982 area of low pressure. This will be pushing in. That much colder air will change things back to snow, but we're not expecting major amounts of snow on the back end of this system. Things dry out. We get a lot of lake effect snows, these trajectories coming off of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, and so forth. So this whole process will put us back into colder weather as we get into the early part of next week, along with some Arctic chill. And then we have several Alberta Clipper systems. If you keep an eye on this weather system and jet stream energy in the northern branch, the polar branch of the jet stream, we can see this begin to work on through parts of North America and then approach us, picks up a little bit moisture coming in off of relatively warm, balmy waters of the Great Lakes. And this pushes in for a little bit of snow, and it looks like this is going to be the main course. This is also an area of low pressure that's going to be 995. That's going to develop too far out to sea for any concerns for us, but something we'll have to watch on this evolution. And this storm is going to smack into Nova Scotia. It looks like it's going to be quite the system as you watch that. Kaboom. And then we have another Alberta Clipper-like system that's going to be moving on through, delivering some more snow. It looks like around the 15th or so. and then more lake effect snows behind that. Here comes the third Alberta Clipper. And so generally a colder scenario as we go through the next 10 days. From the Weather Prediction Center, the 7-day total precipitation, snow, and rain is roughly about 1 inch, but a little bit more up across parts of southern Vermont, southern New England. Up and down the eastern seaboard, a consistent amount of precip. Also, El Nino-induced storm systems will continue to funnel through mainly California, a little bit less further to the north. Because of the recent moderation and a moderation during the daytime high temperatures, you can see we're running about 9 to 12 degrees above normal. This is for the next 5 days. 3 days later, a little bit less, but still above normal for overall for our maximum temperatures. You can see almost coast to coast, though, some cooling taking place. Taking a look at the last 7 days of snowfall here, we have 10 inches atop Mount Mansfield, 3 inches in Worcester, about 4 inches in the West Danville area, Standard Mountain Range around Walden, 4 inches up in the eastern parts of Franklin County, 5 inches around Sutton, 6 inches over toward the Willoughby Country and Island Pond region. Lesser amount, of course, in the Connecticut River Valley. 5 inches, though, in some areas around Addison County have picked up. Waltham and those areas have picked up a fairly good amount of snow recently, but a lot less as you head further off to the south. Looking at snow depth, this is what we have currently as of actually yesterday morning, January the 6th. And concentrating on this wind event coming in to the region, you can see it moving in from the southwest. Okay, this is valid at about 7 o'clock Sunday morning, and then by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this is what's showing up in the latest modeling. 12 hours ago, yesterday's model run really went off the hinges there. You can see greater than 64 knot winds, and that's not even miles an hour. This is a little bit more relative, I think, and a little bit more accurate, but you can see where it goes here. We still have some very strong winds, and we're talking probably better than 50 knots, and so these are pretty significant winds. Hence, right now, latest heads up will be issued later on this evening, and this will continue to be monitored as we approach Sunday. It does look like after the storm moves on by, we have some marginally strong winds across mainly the southern half of the Green Mountains, and there could be some downsloping, but this does not look like it's a big deal, and it's actually a little bit below thresholds, and that's the only worry there. That would be on Monday. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.